Yoon Suk Yeol, Tetanyan. President Yoon Suk Yeol, South Korea has been impeached. It now goes to the Constitutional Court. As an, Let me start out by saying, since that day, since he declared martial law, I've thought he should resign. He has not. But that being said, also studying the Constitution of South Korea, I can't honestly say that he committed any crimes. I don't know all the facts, obviously. All I know is that he declared martial law. That in itself is a presidential prerogative under the Constitution of South Korea. Now, in response, the National Assembly, those who could get there, voted to lift the martial law. That is also their prerogative and is constitutional. So far we have declaring a martial law, which seems to be constitutional, a demand from the National Assembly to lift martial law, which also seems to be constitutional, and the President of South Korea responding within 5 hours to lift the said martial law, also his constitutional prerogative. So we have three things that happened that night, all constitutionally protected, as best I can tell, and everything actually worked the way it should have worked. President declared martial law. National Assembly didn't see any reason for that, or thought his reason was They demanded he lift martial law. He, in turn, lifted martial law. Yet he has been impeached. So I don't know. I don't fully understand this. Nobody broke any laws. Why are we impeaching him? That being said, I realize I'm an outsider, and that's okay. I do study hard. I do try to figure things out. And I still think that it's in the best interest of South Korea if Yoon Suk Yeol is removed, or I think he should step down. But I understand what's going on here. If he steps down, they go to a vote for a new president rather quickly. And I think the ruling party wants the impeachment to go through. It gives them kind of like, unless the court really takes it up quickly, it gives them 6 months to figure out what they're going to do, who they're going to run, that kind of thing. But I understand the protests. I didn't like it when he declared martial law either, especially when I heard some of his reasons. Conservatives in South Korea always tend to blame North Korea and spies. So we must declare martial law. Chun Doo-hwan, you are not, Mr. Yoon Suk Yeol. And it was obvious, because the generals who were tasked to do things under you didn't do them. And that's why martial law had to be lifted. And again, I think that also was a good thing. I'm not on Yoon Suk Yeol's side. I'm not on the opposition party's side either. I'll say once again, it looked to me that on that night, people did things that were constitutionally protected, and the system worked. President declared martial law. National Assembly said, not so fast. We don't like it. Lift it. President lifted it. Can you impeach him for that? Can he be convicted in the Constitutional Court for that? I don't know. And to call it an insurrection? All right, granted, I think like a Westerner, because I am a Westerner, I live in a country that is even more free than the one we're talking about. So, I don't know. Insurrection? The president, the sitting president, is involved in an insurrection? The sitting president is going to overthrow his own government? I find that far-fetched. But we'll have to see what happens. I still think Yoon Suk Yeol needs to go. But I personally have some problems. Not that anybody cares, I know that. But I personally have some problems as I look at their constitution and go, wait a minute, we're doing what? Why? So we'll have to see what's going on here. And don't forget, the reason the president declared martial law, and I'm not saying this is a valid reason at all, but he was basically absolutely frustrated. And I understand why. He got shellacked in the last election. His party got shellacked. Opposition party really have a large majority. And they were overturning everything. They weren't letting nothing pass. Nothing. Cut the budget by almost a third, I think. It's insanity. And they were impeaching all of his ministers. How can you be president? How can you run a country when all the opposition does is impeach all your people? Vote down everything that comes across their desk and cut your budget by a third. How do you rule? And that's why he did it. Doesn't mean it was 100% right. Doesn't mean that his interpretation is 100% correct of his own constitution. But it does mean, all of this does mean, that the system worked so far. It's still working. Let's go through it again. Really quick. President declares martial law. National Assembly says, no. President lifts martial law. National Assembly impeaches him. He's impeached. Now it goes to the Constitutional Court for a final decision. He's not out of office yet. He's suspended. His presidential powers are suspended, but as of this moment, he's still president of South Korea, depending on the result of the trial at the Constitutional Court. And we'll have to see where that goes. So, folks, democracy in South Korea is working. Little different than democracy in my country, but it's working. The system is working. And the people of South Korea can be proud of that, and they can be happy about that. And yes, they got to protest, they got to speak their minds. That's also protected in their constitution. So all in all, South Korean democracy is working. Granddaddy P, signing out.